Good morning, welcome to Fairy and Spoilt. I want to talk to you today about Bichon Frise lumps. I've got a little Bichon here, little Albert. And I just want to talk to you about his lumps because one of his lumps has fallen off and this happens now and again. And I just want to tell you about it in case you don't know about Maybe you've got your first Bichon, you don't know. So they get lumps. And Albert is 11 now and he's absolutely covered in these lumps. And I do get them checked over by the vets now and again, and there's never any issue. They're never concerned that it's turning into anything nasty. And what they do is they just fall off. Now, there's a few different kinds of lumps they can have. He only has two kinds, so let me show you. And he is covered in them. So the most common one, we've got to find a lump, little Albert. Do you mind if we just find a lump? Oh, he's going to walk away. Oh, typical. Okay, the first, if he's bothered, I'm not going to do this, but I want to try and show you. So, oh, there's a good one there. If you can see there, they look like little pumpkins. You see there? So they look like little pumpkins, and one has just fallen off. So in 11 years, we've never had any of those ones fall off. Now, he has another kind which falls off regularly, and that is behind his ear, if I can show you. You see there? It looks like a tick. Looks just like a tick. That one bursts and falls off regularly. And the one that I just showed you on the ear, that actually can be pussy sometimes. And sometimes it just looks like it's going to burst. And I just give it a quick squeeze. And it just bursts and blood and pus comes out of it. Sorry, this isn't very nice. And that has been happening for years. And in a minute I'm going to tell you what I do when that happens. And like I said, he's only got one of them. And it looks just like a tick. People are always saying, oh, he's got a tick. And it's not a tick. It's just that he has got this lump that just does burst. And then you've got the other kind that I just showed you, which are like the pumpkins. Now, in 11 years, not one of them has ever done anything other than just grow. And they're not massive. And it takes 11 years for them to grow. And they're not big at all. They're quite small. But they are all over his body. He's covered in them. But yesterday, day before, one of the little pumpkin ones fell off, and I've never had that in all the time, and it fell off, and I didn't obviously know that it had fallen off until I saw bleeding on his back, and I went and had a look, and it is literally just gone, just fallen off, and it's left quite not a hole, but the circle of where the lump was, and then that obviously bled, and that's what got my attention. Now, before I show you where it is, if you have Bichons, and I know a lot of you do, you will know that if they lick their paws, if you put cream on them, if they bleed, if anything happens, if they cut themselves, it always looks so much worse than it really is, because it stains their fur and just looks so much worse. So when I show you this now, it looks horrendous, to be honest, and it's not. It's just the one dot fell off, that bled, stained the fur. I then wiped it all down with a wet wipe, but I'm going to show you them in a minute, and put some cream on it, which I'll show you in a minute, and it looks so much worse than it ever is. So I'm going to show you just from a distance so you can see it there. Look, so that was a tiny little lump about the size of 5p piece, like a pea, maybe like 2 peas, and then when I've done what I've done, it's spread out and it looks so much worse than it is. It looks really, really deep. It's not. It looks really deep. It looks really wide. It looks quite awful. It's not. If you have just got your first Bichon, don't be alarmed by how bad things look, and they're often not that bad. It's because of the bacteria in them. They just, anything that basically any moisture, whether it's from like something like cream or something, that if they lick themselves, their fur just turns brown and it stains, and it looks so much more dramatic than it is. And it also lasts for quite a long time. So I'll just keep cutting the fur down there, and that would be that. Let me show you what I've done. Right, so I check the spots regularly. So when we get back from a walk in the morning, I just check. I've got 3 dogs, if you don't know me. I just check them all over, make sure everything's okay. And with Albert, I just have a quick check over all of his lumps. I don't put cream on all of his lumps. The pumpkin ones, I just maybe once a week when I'm grooming them, just make sure they're nice and clean with a wipe. But the one on his ear, because that is sort of more active, I do probably twice a week just wipe that down, make sure it's clean, and then put some cream on it, because that is, with the pumpkin ones, they're not actually an open wound or anything, but the one on his ear, it can be a little bit open sometimes, and so it's important that I get the air to it. And I either just use baby wipes to wipe it down, but I do also get, and what I've got at the moment, actually, let me show you, is I just got some pet wipes. I don't know where I got these from. I think it might have been, oh no, these are Pets at Home ones. Sometimes I just get them when I do my shopping, when I go to Asda, and they just got antibacterial and stuff like that, and they're just pet wipes. And so I will wipe it all down with that, give it a good clean, and then, as always, you know, if you know my channel, nothing's changed from this perspective. I still use exactly the same cream that I started using 10 years ago. And it's the tea tree cream. And the reason I don't use anything else is because I can't find anything else that's as good. So the tea tree cream is absolutely excellent for cleaning things up, stopping itching. I use it for absolutely everything. And it comes in the spray, so if your dog won't let you touch it, you can just spray it, which I just find to be absolutely an excellent thing. So, oh, what are we barking at? What are we barking at? And so, yeah, so I've washed that this morning, wiped that down this morning, I've put some cream on it. I'll just leave it today to dry out. Tomorrow morning, I'll just have a check on it. I won't, I'll wipe it down again just to make sure it's, the problem is you've got to get the balance, because it's going to scab up, which is what you want, so the skin underneath it can heal. If you keep wiping it and putting cream on it, that is just not going to work, because the scab isn't going to be able to be dry enough. So I'll have a look at it tomorrow, and I'll keep an eye on it all the time, but, you know, I will have a look at it tomorrow, and I will decide whether to wet it again or not. And, you know, it's the same like with hot spots, which are so common in Bichons. You want them to be as dry as possible, because you want the air to dry them out, because they want to be moist, and that's when you get infection. So, and that's what I'm trying to avoid with this, is making sure that there's no infection. So even though this morning when I went to him, there was actually there was a sort of a scab forming, but because there was blood which had come out through the night, I washed the scab off. I just kept wiping until the scab was gone, and then I knew that it was really clean. If you've got a hot spot or something like that, and the dogs, what can happen sometimes is that the scab will form, but the fur can keep growing, and you're just going to end up in a white mess, because all you're doing is creating an environment for bacteria and infection to get. So sometimes if you've got a hot spot and it's scabbed up, the actual best thing you can do is get the scab off. Just wipe it. If you keep wiping it with a wet wipe, it will wipe off. Just wipe it, or keep wiping it, and it will come off, because you don't want, it's a really hard balance, because it's a hard balance between knowing when it's all looking dry and okay and you want to leave the scab so everything can heal up, or when the scab is actually just causing an environment where you could get infection. And that's not an easy thing to always know which way to go. But I know I went to a vet once, early on with him. It wasn't a hot spot, it was actually a gnat bite that got out of control, and he had a big scab on it, and the vet said, get that scab off. And you know me and vets, I'm not a big fan of vets, but this vet spoke sense, and he said, you need to get the scab off. And I always remember that, and it's something that I've always done. It's a right gloomy old day today. We've had such lovely September weather. It's been really, really lovely. But today is quite gloomy, so not too good. We're in the middle of September now, so yeah, it's looking a bit gloomy out there. So Albert, do you want to say hello, my darling? You don't really see him much in my videos because he sleeps a lot. Don't you, sweetheart? I've got these new toppers for their beds. They're not actual beds, they're just toppers. You just put them on top. I just got them from Amazon, and you just put them on top of their beds, and it makes a really, really cosy bed. When he's settled, I'll go and show you that a bit closer. We've got Humps here wanting a cuddle, as always. Always wanting a cuddle. Yeah, always wanting a cuddle. Yeah, you are. I wanted to show the people the topper to the bed, because you like them. Upstairs, I've got 5 beds upstairs for them, along the landing, and I've put these toppers on all of them. So they've got just a bit cosier, and now it's getting a bit colder. I took them off for the summer because I thought they might be a bit too warm. But now it's getting a bit cooler again. Are you liking that? Are you all snuggly in there? Are you all snuggly? Like you see, if you're new to, can you see how bad that looks? It looks like a massive cut. It's not. It's a tiny little one spot thing, but the where I've been washing it and the staining makes it look really bad. If you haven't got a Bichon, you don't be alarmed at these things. This is what happens. The other thing is, it doesn't matter how, if you let your Bichon have a normal life, or they go out walking and they not have a normal life, they're just going to look a state all the time. Like if you look at Albert's face, look at my little dirty, look at your little face. Always looks dirty. Looks like no one. You look like you're homeless most of the time, don't you, sweetheart? But this topper, so the bottom bit of it is just completely flat, so you couldn't use it as a bed on its own. That is just really, really thin. You couldn't use it as a bed on its own. But it goes on top of beds really well, and then you've got this lovely edging all around the side, which they love using like a pillow. You're going to walk away now. He always does that, spends absolutely ages getting his bed ready, and then walks away and goes and sleeps somewhere else. He always does it. Right, so that's it. So that's what's been happening in my life in the last few days. You know how it works. If you've got any questions, pop them in comments. I'll help you if I can. And I hope that you're all well, and I hope your dogs are all well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.